Hi guys, I'm Jenn Johns. Welcome back to the channel. Now, if this is your first time here, make sure you subscribe. We've been making videos since 2011 here on YouTube, and we have over 460 recipes for you guys to follow. Today I'm going to be making a galaxy ice cream cake. I've made ice cream cakes before, but this one is amazing because it is all about galaxy. I've got galaxy chocolate bark on top, I've got galaxy buttercream all over the side, and then the ice cream cake itself has an Oreo crust with galaxy ice cream, homemade with no machine needed. Let's get started on this tutorial. To make the ice cream cake, we're going to be using a bunch of different gel paste colors. Now you can use a different variety than I have, but I'm just going to go over exactly what I have in case you want to copy that. I've got sky blue here, I've got super black, and I've got a regular like royal blue. I also have a purple or a violet, and then I have the deep pink. These are Americolor gel paste, and they make them nice and bright colors, which you'll see later. Now to make the crust, we're going to be using 2 cups of Oreo cookies that are crumbled. You can crush them in the food processor, or you can use already pre-crushed ones. We're going to melt down this ½ cup of butter, and we're going to add that to the crust. Now for the no machine ice cream, we're going to be using a couple teaspoons of vanilla extract, but you could change that up to flavor your ice cream differently. We're going to need 4 cups of the whipping cream, which is a nice heavy cream with at least 33% milk fat. And then we're going to be using 2 cans of sweetened condensed milk. That's a total of 600 milliliters. Now for a little bit of like extra, I've got different kinds of edible glitter. I've got what we call disco dust. I've just got this little edible glitter flakes, and then I've got some edible glitter stars. You could use any of these, you could use different colors, you could use silver dragées, anything that's nice and bright and galaxy-like. So I've transferred my cookie crumbs into a larger medium-sized bowl than I had before. I'm pouring in my melted butter. If you don't want so much butter, you don't have to do it. What the butter is going to do is bind the cookie crumbs together, and it's just going to make for a harder crust. So I'm just going to stir these together with that melted butter. Now beside me I've got a 9-inch round springform pan. A springform pan has a little release lever where you can just pop out the sides from the bottom. Now in the bottom of the pan is a glass bottom, and you can't see that on video, but I assure you it's there. It caused quite a kerfuffle a couple videos ago when I used it, and you guys thought I was pouring it directly onto the counter, but I wasn't. So you'll see now I'm pouring the chocolate cookie crumbs here into the center. Just use my spatula to get those off, all into there, like that. And then you can go around the first time. I like to do it with the spatula, just patting it down, like that, into the sides. And the nice thing is you don't need any like nonstick spray for this. It's going to snap right out of the pan here. Now to get it nice and flat, what I'm using is the bottom of a glass, and I'm just going to go around and press that down. Once I've got it nice and flat, I'm going to pop it into the fridge. It only needs about 5 minutes to chill. So I've got my whipping cream poured here into a large bowl, and I'm going to use the mixer to mix it on high speed, and what we're going to look for is stiff peaks. Once you have the stiff peaks formed from whipping, you're going to add in the 2 cans of the sweetened condensed milk. So this is a base for ice cream that you don't need to use an ice cream machine maker with. And you could add any different kind of flavor that you want to in at this point. If you're going with the galaxy cake though, I suggest that you just keep it kind of at these flavors, just simply because it's not going to change the base color at all. And we are going to be adding a lot of coloring into it. So I've got the vanilla there. You could easily change that up if you wanted to though. So now I'm going to whip this up. So I've divided my ice cream batter up into 5 different bowls. I've got extra ice cream amounts in the black and the dark blue. Here I have the pink, and the gel paste is already in there, so I'm just going to mix it up. Now I've put a lot of gel paste into each of my bowls because I want to have nice vibrant colors, and I want them to be like on the darker side of their actual shade, so I want them to be nice and bright and dark. I'm going to finish mixing up the rest of them, and then I'll be back to show you the next step. With all my colors now mixed up, I'm going to start adding to my cookie crust. Now there's no like rhyme or reason where you want to put this stuff. You just want to make sure that you get all the colors into this part. When I get to the very top, I'll show you the trick to like make sure everything gets blended together. And then we're also going to do our top a little bit differently than we do this part. So this part we're just kind of like random and sporadic. We're going to get all of these nice galaxy colors in. And then we want to make sure that we get lots of black mixed in here too, because we've got all those nice dark blues and the dark purple, and we want to make sure we've got some nice black in here. So just keep adding all of these to your cake pan here until you use up probably the majority of it. You want to make sure that you have a little bit of the bright blue and the bright pink, the purple, and the dark blue left over. Now that we've got the ice cream all kind of dolloped in here, I'm going to take an offset spatula and I'm just going to like swirl it around into little swirls here. You can do big ones, you can do little ones. You want to make sure that you get the edges as well, so that when you take off the springform pan, you're going to see a little bit of blending there. You won't get a ton of blending from that though. So you just want to work this nicely around in blending these colors here on the top. So now with some that I have left over, I'm just going to add a little bit more color, maybe to like areas that don't have much. You don't want it to be too colorful though, if that makes sense. You just kind of want to have a fine balance between what you've got. And then for those ones, you could take a knife or that spatula again, but now I'm just going to use like a little scribe tool and work that in. So I'm going to pop this into the freezer and it's going to freeze for at least 6 hours. You want to make sure that it is nice and frozen solid. To get the cake to flatten out, I just gave it a little bit of a tap and you can like spin it a little bit. Now you can do the glitter either before or after you put it into the freezer. It doesn't really matter. I just found that it's a little bit easier for the glitter to stick to the actual ice cream base here before we put it in. So I've got some of those edible glitter chunks and then some of the edible glitter, which is the disco dust. So I'm just sprinkling it on really sparingly. I don't want too much. This glitter, if you've worked with it before, you know that it gets absolutely everywhere, so you don't want to have too much flying around your kitchen. So now is the time where I'm going to pop this into the freezer and we're going to work on the other elements of the cake. To make the chocolate galaxy bark, I'm going to be using 5 different colors of candy melts. Now these are chocolate melting wafers. Now I've got a pink one, I've got a nice dark black. When we melt it, it kind of goes a little bit purpley, but it does dry hard like this black. I've also got a nice lilac purple here, a light blue, and then more of a darker blue or even like a royal blue here. To decorate the bark, we're going to be using like silver dragées, or you could use edible star glitter, whatever you've got on hand. And then I do have some edible glitters here. I've got the glitter flakes here, and then I've got some edible disco dust in a couple different colors. I've got a nice silver, and then this one's called amethyst. So I've melted all my chocolate candy wafers and I did that with 60 second intervals, and it was on a 50% power. So you want to melt them really slowly. You can melt them at full power if you want to, but you just want to decrease your time. Make sure you only do like a couple seconds at a time, maybe like 10 to 20 seconds. Just holding on to my piece of parchment paper here. Now, as you can see, I'm not sure how it shows up on the camera, but it does look a little bit purpley here while it's melted. And that's not going to be, like I said before, it's going to dry nice and black. So I'm just spreading this out here on the parchment paper, and I've got it on a baking tray. Now this is going to make transferring the bark to the fridge where it needs to get solidified there. It's going to make the process a little bit easier. Now you can also use like a silicone mat underneath, which since mine's moving around so much, that probably would have been a good idea to do, but I don't have tons that fit into this tray here. So now that I've gotten it out here nice and flat, what I'm going to do now is take my other colors. Now, like the ice cream cake, what I wanted to do was have lots of this darker blue and the darker colors, because that really speaks to me for the galaxy. Obviously, this is a project that you can do that definitely has your own take on it. So I've got that. I'm going to put some purple on too. A little bit more sparingly than I did that dark blue. Now I'm trying to cover the whole entire mat here, just making sure I'm getting all of the black. And I'm just going to kind of do a little bit of the blue here, making sure I'm getting right to those edges. And then a little bit of the pink here as well. Kind of splatter that around. Makes a nice little design here. Then I'm going to take my offset spatula, or you could use a knife or a toothpick, whatever you choose. I'm just going to hold on to the edge there, and then I'm just going to work those galaxy shapes again like I did previously in the cake itself. So I'm just going to do that with here, and then I'm going to get my glitter ready. I'm going to start with some dragées. If you've got lots of edible glitter stars, you can use those. I've been using so many of them, I don't have a lot left, so I'm just sprinkling the dragées. Just do this corner closest to you guys here so you guys can see what I'm doing. Now I'm going to put on some of that edible glitter, the like flakes of it. Just sprinkle that on there like that. And of course you go over your whole entire thing. Now I really like the way this blue glitter kind of shows up too. I guess what I said, the name of it is amethyst. And it's just kind of in the little blue purpley kind of effect here, just sprinkling that on. But I really, really love the silver disco dust. That definitely speaks galaxy to me. So I'm just going to finish covering the whole entire piece of chocolate bark here. Then what I'm going to do is pop it into the fridge. It only needs about 10 minutes to set to hard. Once our bark has hardened, we can take a nice sharp knife and we can cut it into shards of chocolate. I'm just using like a little like sawing back and forth motion. You will get lots of breakage, but you can kind of lessen that breakage when you do it with this little bit of sawing motion. So I'm just going to do that and cut out a whole bunch of pieces. Now we're going to make the Galaxy Buttercream. So I've got 4 different shades of buttercream here. I'll put a link to my vanilla recipe that I used to color them with. I use the same colors that I showed you before. So what I've got here is my piping bag fitted with a 1M open star tip. You can put any kind of tip in there. I like the ones with some sort of the star effect, which is going to give you a nice little like blending of the different colors. So I've got that into a piping bag. Now to hold the bag, I'm just wrapping my hand around the opening like that. And then I'm going to take spoonfuls of the icing and I'm going to put it into the bag just kind of like randomly. It's kind of hard to do this with one hand. And if your colors mix while you're doing this, it is no big deal at all because they are going in there and they're going to mix up while they are in the bag, obviously. So I'm going to just continue doing that. So I've got those and I'm going to repeat and I'm going to make sure I've got lots of black in there. Kind of put the black and the other colors in a different spot than you had them previously. So I'm going to continue on with that and then I'll be back to get this onto the cake. So I've got the cake out of the freezer. I've got my buttercream and my bark ready to go. So this one's fun because I don't need any sort of pattern to this. I can totally like pipe this on however I want. I want to get all of these different colors coming out. See the blue and the purple and the pink coming on there. So I'm just going to go around completely all the way around the cake. To finish off the top of the cake, I'm going to put my bark on, but in order to get my bark to stick in this frozen cake, I am going to need a little bit of buttercream. That buttercream will freeze solid if you've got that cake nice and cold. To get my cake this solid, I turned up the freezer to its maximum temperature in order to get it nice and cold, and it does it a little bit quicker as well. So I'm going to put a couple more pieces of bark on, and then I'll be back to show you the finished product. So there you go, everybody, how to make this amazing Galaxy ice cream cake. I've got the chocolate bark up on top, the Galaxy buttercream all over the side. We've got tons of glitter and sparkles and like lovely things that are brightening up the top. I hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial, and if you like ice cream cakes, I've got a bunch more up for you. I'll put a playlist link in the description box below. Thank you so much for watching. Remember to subscribe to the channel, give the video a thumbs up, and I will see you guys all again next time.